Good morning and welcome back to the Little French Homestead. My name is Sherry. If you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be challenging myself to create 5 delicious meals using my new Crockpot with only 3 ingredients. So come with me and let's see how easy this really is. I'm going to leave all of the ingredients listed below and any other ingredients that I've made or used on the way. I'll have a link to my video. Now, I personally cooked all of these crock pot meals on low and slow, so that's normally about 6 to 8 hours. You can use the high method, that is 3 to 4 hours, depends on how well in that time frame you need to go ahead and make these meals. So as you see here, I showed you that I had diced chicken that was butterflied, and I used 4 diced chicken breasts. They were boneless and skinless. You can use your favorite barbecue sauce, and then 1 jar of orange marmalade. Now, I served this particular meal with some baked potatoes and a dollop of sour cream on it, and this was absolutely fantastic. But I'm not going to reveal which one that my family and I enjoyed the most until the very end, so you'll need to stay and watch as I go through all of them. Now, we did this over about 8 days. I was trying to see if I could do it in 5. I was unable to make the 5 days, 5 crock pot meals. So we were able to spread it out just a little bit, and it actually worked out just fine for us because Fridays is pizza night, and I was not going to make a crock pot pizza. So here you're going to go ahead and see us make a chicken salsa tacos. Now again, these are boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I just put them in whole because I was going to shred all of this up a little later. You are going to add your favorite salsa. Now, I am using Chi-Chi's salsa, and that is a medium chunky salsa. You can use mild, or you can use hot, or even you can use picante sauce if you don't like actual chunky salsa. It's whatever your preference is or whatever you have on hand. Now, what I have here is a taco seasoning package that I found in the back of my spice cabinet. It is not out of date by any means, but I make my own taco seasoning now, so I just wanted to go ahead and use that up, and that was the perfect way. I give this all a little bit of a mix to thoroughly combine the ingredients and put a lid on it, and again, like I said earlier, all of these were done low and slow. You're going to see here just now, I had gone earlier in the day to make sure that they were all fork tender, and I did take a little taste, and it was fabulous. I thought I had 5 of the large tortillas wraps, but I only had 4. So what I'm talking about here is I had used my dad's homegrown lettuce to go ahead and use for my wrap, and I did a side of white rice, actually jasmine rice, but some rice on the side. It was also my chicken flavored recipe that I have. Now for this particular recipe, I am telling you that I am using a 26 ounce or 28 ounce frozen meatballs. You don't have to go that many. I did that many because I wanted to have a little bit of leftovers for lunch over the next day or two. And you're going to add 1 full jar of grape jelly, any flavor that you have on hand. And then you're going to add some sweet chili Thai sauce and mix all of those together. Now, this is very, very good. When I first made this, my girls were younger at the time, and they absolutely fell in love with this. It gives that nice, sweet, little tangy bites to it, and it wasn't spicy. It was just sweet enough to where it give a little bit of a tang. I did serve this over some bow tie pasta noodles, but I would have served them with egg noodles if I had them, and I have done that in the past, and they are absolutely divine. When you do that, that gravy really soaks in to those noodles. And I mean, I don't really make all of this often, but when I do, it doesn't last very long in my household. So you see here that I'm just mixing it all up and serving it with a little extra bit of sauce. Divine. Now, I did cheat a little bit here on this one. I had already had a smoked barbecued pork that I got from a buy one, get one free at my local Publix. And I used then some more barbecue sauce. And this recipe calls for a can of root beer. Boy, when I tell you that it was absolutely phenomenal, I am not kidding you. This was one of the best pulled porks that I had, using 3 ingredients. It was really, really good. Now, when I had served this, I had done some homemade coleslaw. Now, I bought the coleslaw mix, but I made all the rest of it there at my house. And then we served it also too with a side of potato chips on some hamburger toasted buns. And it was wonderful again. Now, both my girls, they do loved this, but they preferred it just on the side. They didn't want their hamburger buns toasted, or really any kind of a hamburger bun. I've got one girl right now having braces, and she just got them like less than a week and a half ago. So she's really learning still how to eat very well. She got her spacers removed, so now she's really able to chew. But during this time frame here, she ate very limited items, even though she did tell me it was delicious. She just wasn't able to have that good chew. Now, I've never had braces, so I don't know how she feels when she's eating, but I let her have a pass, and she did have some macaroni and cheese on some of these nights to avoid too much picking of the meat and stuff out of her braces. The last meal we did, of course, I am saving the best for last. We done homemade French dip. Now, I had a sirloin tri-tip steak. You see me here going ahead and drubbing it dry so we could make sure the seasoning was going to stick very well. The only seasoning I added was a little bit of salt and pepper, and I seared both sides in a very hot pan with a little bit of oil. I did allow this to rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. And after I did that, I sliced it as thin as I could get it. And then I poured it in the Crockpot. And I want to tell you right now, I know I said I wouldn't say anything, but boy, this was absolutely phenomenal. I think this is again one of the best 5 Crockpot meals that I have made in a very long time. And again, this was so simple. Once I've sliced the steak into very thin slices, or at least as thin as I could get it, I added it to the Crockpot. Now, I also had made some homemade beef broth, which I added my homemade beef broth to this. You can see it right on the counter. Now there was a small little layer of fat on that. And you know what? I kept it because I didn't flavor my beef broth while I was cooking it because I didn't know what I was going to be using it for. And I didn't want to add any seasonings because I didn't want to over salt whatever meat or other ingredients that I was going to use. I would rather salt everything all at once together to make sure I don't over salt it. And it was the perfect portion. After I add that beef broth, I have got my homemade powdered Au Jus that I've made in advance, and I will link that video down below as well as the video to the bone broth that I made, or beef broth, excuse me. And I just used 2 good size heaping tablespoons full, mixed that all together, and I did put this again on low and slow. I had made all of this, I think it started around 9:30 that morning, and by about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was able to start pulling apart the meat. So I let it go to keep on warm setting so I would not continue to overcook it. And I actually had my lunch, or actually my dinner, a little early. My son had come out at that time frame when I was finished making all of this all up, and he wanted to go ahead and get his lunch / dinner early as well. So I had some French loaf bread, and I just scooped it all up in there, and I had the oven on a broil, and I baked his, and then I baked mine, and he actually wanted some cheese on his, so I had added some mozzarella cheese, and I baked that in the oven, and we took a side of the juice, and we dipped it in there, and that bread just soaked up all of that delicious juice and all that flavoring, and we were absolutely in love. I think we are going to go ahead and make this more often than what I probably really want to do. I'm going to make sure that I have extra sirloin on hand next time the Publix does a buy one get one free. That is exactly what I'm going to go ahead and do. I cannot wait for that. We are going to go ahead and have that a few more times, probably in the next couple of months. Here I am getting a little bit of juice. Now you could certainly add onions to this. I did not have any extra onions here in my house. I used them all pretty much for the French onion soup. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I do have a little bit of onions, but they were diced, not sliced. I would want sliced onions for this, and I would want to caramelize them at first. You can see me here taking the bite, and it was super good. So I just want to go ahead and say thank you for watching and coming into my home today. If you like this video and you would like to see more, please like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe and keep on cooking. Thank you and good night. Bye, y'all.